When it comes to strategies for dealing with the loss right now, there are 4 steps that have been found to be useful. They're not magic, they're not the only steps there are, but I just offer them to you as something to remember is out there. And you've probably done a lot of these already. So one of them is simply recognizing and accepting the loss and change that has already occurred from the time your person was diagnosed until now. So it's noticing the changes that happened in the past and focusing on the changes that have already occurred. And then the second one, not surprisingly, is flipping it a little bit and considering the losses that are going to occur in the future, the near future or the more distant future, depending on your person's situation and yours. But it's actually allowing yourself to consider it, not to scare yourself, not to make yourself crazy, but just to allow it into your space, so you understand this could be going on going forward in the future. And the third one is what I said a little bit earlier, which is simply normalizing grief now, even though your person is still alive and talking with you and here on this earth. Having grief now is, number one, it's completely natural. Number two, it's even healthy in that it's a way of adapting now or beginning introducing the adaptation process so that when your person actually passes, there's less likelihood of experiencing complicated grief or prolonged grief, a term that's bandied around a lot, and it really means having grief that has some obstacles in the way of our being able to adapt naturally to the loss. Does that make sense? So I'm not suggesting grief goes away or disappears. If you love someone, it never feels okay to lose someone we love. But eventually, the hope for all of us is that we can adapt and have a life going forward, and to understand that that's okay, and not to have a wall or a barrier or something that prevents us from moving forward. So prolonged grief might occur when someone has some barriers in the way. It might be, oh, I'm never going to go past that intersection again for the rest of my life, because that's where I always remember seeing my person, and it just is so upsetting to me. I can't feel okay about that. That's a really simplistic description. Prolonged grief is more complicated than that, but it's a kind of symptom that could occur with it. And then the fourth strategy is reframing the relationship with your person and seeing your new role as a caregiver. You know your caregivers. You don't need me to tell you that. But it's actually considering, how am I reframing my relationship? It's not the same now. It can't be. It doesn't mean it's, and yet there's still elements that are the same. So it's both and, but it's understanding that we're reframing a relationship. So those are actually helpful strategies